Yo, 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 we back. Fresh episode, Talking Game. I'm your host, Anthony, LT, Tony, Yellow Tape King. Whatever you call me, lets me know what I was on when you was fucking with me. And I'm back today, this week. It's been a while, been too long. I promise not to let this gap of time happen ever again. But we got plenty to talk about. Gonna do two episodes today. Gonna do a morning episode Sunday, and then I'm gonna do one after the games today. Um, I want to jump right into it, and the first thing I do want to talk about is my Yankees. That's right, my Yankees. The good, the bad, the ups and downs. They're still my guys, and we advanced to the ALCS. I was feeling more optimistic the closer we got to the playoffs. When I just started looking around at the rest of the league and I realized every team had their flaws. And you know what? Gotta gotta stick with my Yankees and stand beside them no matter what theirs are or were at the time. I do want to say one time for my boy Giancarlo Stan, Big G. I got a group chat with a couple, with Jay and Marcus, um, co-hosting friends and family of the podcast. And I sent a meme, not a meme, a GIF. Giancarlo Stanton in the playoffs is Jimmy Butler, man. He's just a whole nother animal come playoff time. I've said it all throughout the regular season, though. I always gonna have a soft place in my heart when it comes to Giancarlo Stanton, no matter how many times he strikes out, no matter how what you call it, how bad some of those strikeouts may look. He does two things that I always gonna love and respect as a Yankees fan. He kills the Red Sox and he kills in the playoffs. I'm sure if you watch any of the games, you've seen the stat, most home runs per plate appearance ratio, only second to Babe Ruth all time. Um, because we all know, strikeout or not, high strikeouts or not, Giancarlo Stanton makes contact with a baseball, is gonna go far. He's gonna hit that motherfucker hard, and it's gonna go far. And it happened with Kansas City. Um, my boy Judge, um, never really noticed it. I kind of peeped it, but I never really noticed it until this year, and it's highlighted. And that's one of those things when you get bigger contracts, that flaws get highlighted even more. And my boy Judge really does shrink comes postseason time. He's under 200 average all time in the playoffs. Um, It's not a sample size. We've been enough times. You haven't gone last year, which makes this year so much better as a Yankees fan, actually having a bite at the apple in the playoffs. But you've been to ALCSs, we've been through wild cards, been through ALDS games, and under 200 just not going to cut it, especially when you get to $360 million. You start caring about that. He is playing good in the field, but we know what you're here for. You're here to crush baseballs in the fall. That's where you get your name. You know what I'm saying? We can have Grisham at center field if it was only about defense. And that's just a fact. So he did he get a double the last game? I feel like he got a double in game four. Maybe that'll get him rolling. But that's the one thing that sucks is now you got a couple days off once again. But you're a professional. I expect him to figure it out. Carlos Rodon, still don't like him. Still don't like him. Had a good outing his last regular season start to get his ERA right under 4, but he's about a 4 ERA pitcher. Um, I've said this before. The one thing that gets on my nerves when it comes to Carlos Rodon is him always giving up a home run to left field, turning over his right shoulder and yelling like he's going to be able to stop the ball or to, I guess, show the emotion that he's upset about giving up a home run. Motherfucker, stop doing it. How about that? How about you stop doing it? That'll save a lot. We do have the Guardians coming up. When it comes to the Guardians, Um, this would be my four um pitcher rotation. Go Cole game one, which probably can't go Cole game one because he pitched 2 days ago. I might go Cole game one, but if not, I'll go Hill game one, Smith game two, go Cole game three, and then game four. It's crazy. I just said all this, but I would probably go Rondon game four, but with a very short leash. I'm talking about the shortest of leashes because I would have Nestor Cortez in the bullpen just because he's more comfortable as a pitcher coming out of the bullpen. But Rondon, bro, you can go three and get pulled for Nestor Cortez. I do like the flexibility that the Yankees do have having Nestor Cortez. Marcus Stroman, I don't know. I just can't really see him coming out of the pen. But speaking of the bullpen, lockdown bullpen. Haven't given up a run yet in the playoffs. Clay Holmes has found a nice spot as the setup man. Canley has always been a good setup man, but now we got Weaver shutting him down as a closer. Anybody who watched baseball knows the hardest three outs has to be the last three outs. I don't know why it's more difficult than the first three, the middle three, but it's something about closing games that I guess you just had to be built for. You have to be prepared as a pitcher to come out and give your all and try and get three outs. Bang, bang, bang. Shout out to Pops. But yeah, it just seems like that's a very difficult thing to do. Um, but we got a guy and I fucks with him. Shout out to Luke Weaver. Um, real quick though, Soto balling out. Um, Soto earning money, man. You know, he's going to keep getting hits. And that's the thing that I'm saying is oddly enough, Soto with the terrible play in right field, no one talks about it when you bat over 300 in the playoffs. And that's what he did for the series. You know, you're going to have the real sports fans and the people who critique every little thing like me or certain people that I talk baseball about. We're going to talk about it. We're going to mention it. We're going to say he has to do better. But that is not going to affect his pay at all. Shout out to Soto. Continue to get on base. Glaber, continue to get on base. At some point, Judge is going to find it because with those two guys at the top of the lineup continue to get on base, he's going to see a lot of strikes. You know what I'm saying? If Austin Wells turns it up just a little bit at the plate, we'll be good. Because Verdugo's hitting. Jazz Chisholm, he's struggling a little bit, but he's playing great at third base. You know what I'm saying? First base, not Purdy, Birdie, Cabrera. I like that. We might be getting Rizzo back this series. We'll see. Just trying to insert him in and be tough. But yeah, man. Shout out to my Yankees. Real quick on the Kansas City side though. Bobby Witt Jr. also disappeared. Batted under 200. Your consensus second place MVP. You can have a debate about Juan Soto. I know people wouldn't want to, but you can. Um, you gotta do better. My boy Salvador Perez, though, he is definitely building him a Hall of Fame career. Another playoff baller, another just one of those catchers, that can run a team. Like I could see Salvador Perez could be player coach, and that wouldn't trip me out. Took Carlos Rodon as on the ride up out of Yankee Stadium, let them know about it around the bases. But play for the wrong team. You clean shave, man. Come to the pinstripes. Come holler at us. Um, I do want to talk Mets though. It does look like still a lot of baseball to be played. It does look like we're on the way to a Subway Series. The Mets seem like the team of the fall. They seem like that team that got that little bit of magic dust on their season, with all the comeback wins, all the late game heroics, late game home runs, late game plays on defense that you can only get from Francisco Lindor right now. And to me, right now, today, October 13th, 2024, Francisco Lindor is the best player in baseball right now. You know what I'm saying? With the plays he's making offensively ever since he's been in the leadoff spot, and then him playing shortstop at a high level, ending the Brewers season with a double play, took the ball himself, boom, touch second, throwing the first. Like I say, all the late game heroes, grand slams, home runs. Right now, today, Francisco Lindor is the best player in baseball. But that's all I got for the Mets because I don't give a damn about the Mets. I do want to talk Dodgers real quick though. Um, the Dodgers are clearly hurt, broke up as a their pitching staff. Freddie Freeman's out there, giving it his all, but you can tell he's hurt. But they still find a way to win and own the San Diego Padres. And when pitching was in question, for good reason, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. Um, they didn't do anything but go 25 straight shutout innings to close the series. After the Padres had that big explosion in the second inning and they went up 6-0 in game 3, they didn't score again the rest of the series. That is crazy. That is crazy. I feel like it was one more thing though about the Yankees I wanted to touch on. And I can't remember. It totally slipped my mind. Huh. I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and move forward though. Get off baseball for a second and talk very quickly on the WNBA because the WNBA does things like this to make you pay this much attention to them. They have their game 2 of the WNBA finals on NFL Sunday. I want to watch. We want to watch. But if Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels are playing, I'm watching that. You guys have not reached the level of popularity to have casual fans or even certain level of actual fans who've been following the sport not watch NFL to watch the WNBA. So you have to do better scheduling wise. Friday, Wednesday, early Sunday, that would make sense. Do a 12 o'clock game. That would make sense. I don't know, but they got to figure it out, man, because you're losing the opportunity to have more eyes on the most important part of the season because you're going up against the biggest sport in the country. All right, real last thing I want to get into though is college football. And I want to start off by saying I love conference realignment. The more we get into the season, the more you look into these matchups, you're like, oh my gosh. We just have Oregon, Ohio State, great game. Number 2, number 3 team, game decided by 1 point. I wouldn't be surprised if they just switched spots. Both teams showed to be deserving. I was skeptical of Ohio State. They haven't played anybody yet, and that's always scary, but it just shows that the type of talent they recruit, when it's time to play the big dogs, they'll be ready. Excuse me. Like I said, Oregon, they finding ways to win. Gutted that one out. You also had Penn State, USC, another great game. Another game you wouldn't see unless teams were scheduled at 5 years out. But now that you're going to be seeing that more frequently, maybe not every year because the conferences are so big, but that's great. Penn State stole them a win out in LA. Playoffs gonna be interesting. I don't like a 12-team playoff. I always thought it should have been 6, but hey man, we're gonna keep it rolling. Um, Ole Miss, another loss to LSU. to me, in the future, I don't give a damn how Ole Miss ends their season. Ole Miss should not be ranked until the college football playoff rankings come out, because that's about the time you figure out which Ole Miss team you have, and you never know within the first couple weeks. They schedule the Middle Tennessees, the Wake Forests, they blow out the sorry teams, and then when it's time to get into conference play, you play not even a little bit, a tougher schedule. They cannot keep up. They cannot compete. Fucking tired of seeing it. Clemson rounding in the form looked like they were left for dead after they damn near laid a goose egg against Georgia. But top 10 team, back to being Wake Forest by 35. ACC is gonna be interesting. They do have to go to Pitt, surprising undefeated 6-0 team. Miami does get to avoid um Clemson. Got Louisville coming up. I think we play Pitt. That might be for a spot in the conference title. But the way Miami looking, my Canes, we can run the table. Maybe lose an ACC title game. Don't want to, and still make the playoffs. Booyah. Um, Colorado. I did think Colorado had a path to the college football playoffs until they lost to K-State. I think like them winning would have had them ranked going into this week. And then shit, with confidence, a couple favorable calls, who knows what can happen. But I don't see that happening now with two losses. Nebraska's not even ranked, and that's one of the teams that you lost to. A lot of injuries happened today. All three of their top receivers did not finish the game. Shador's still out there getting hit. But shout out to Coach Prime. 4-2. I'm sure you'll take that. Will more than likely be bowl eligible. I don't see the bottom falling out of this team, falling out from under this team like it did last year. And one more thing about realignment, man. I'm looking at the SEC, and quick backstory. One of my favorite rivalry games used to be Thanksgiving weekend, Texas A&M. Long way to go. A lot of football to be played. Right now, if everything continues, these two teams run the table through the SEC, which is a hard thing to do. Hell, Texas plays Georgia this week. I believe Texas A&M plays LSU this week or next week. Two teams that can beat both of those teams. But there is a chance that Texas A&M, Texas, could decide who is in first place or who ultimately goes to the SEC championship game. And that is what college football is all about. Gotta love those rivalries, baby. But that's it for today, man. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, I'll be coming back after the NFL games and doing a podcast on that. So I appreciate y'all for listening. See y'all in a bit.